Who in here likes to have fun? Like a good time? Everyone. Has anyone been told ever that you're having too much fun and you need to tone it down, particularly at work if someone overhears you giggling in your cube? Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, there's a fine line between being disrespectful and just having good fun, say with coworkers. Maybe you're down a rabbit hole that's leading to invention. Actually, history shows that fun is a precursor to tremendous innovation. It actually promotes learning and retention. So today, my goal is to share with you some historical context and facts that support why you should have fun so that you can combat curmudgeons in the workforce, in the real world. Well, work is kind of the real world, but anywhere else. Because people oftentimes think that fun is mistaken for being immature, not taking things seriously, or even being disrespectful. To touch on some of the historical context, I was watching a TED Talk by Stephen Johnson on play and innovation. He talks about how archaeologists were shocked. They discovered that the flute was invented 43,000 years ago. I had to look that up, what was even going on at that time. It happened right after fire was discovered by the cavemen and basic survival tools were created. Why the flute? It just didn't quite fit into history at that time. There was no need for it, so they just drew this conclusion that it was there solely for fun. Fast forward to the 3rd century in Greece, the first organ was created. The organ is basically a mechanical flute. Thereafter, the keyboard was invented, the harpsichord, the music box, that was the first programmable device, because you could interchange the cylinders, plug in different programs, and it would play a song. Take all these innovations, and moving forward, they gave rise to what we know of as the modern computer. And so all of our technologies that we have today have this direct lineage back to the flute, which seemed so frivolous at the time. Now that I've given you some of the historical context, let's take a look at some of the modern research that supports my findings on why we should all have fun. First off, science has shown that in lectures where a professor interjects jokes that are relevant to the topic, students tend to retain the information more. In other research has shown that when you're having a fun experience, it increases the levels of dopamine, of endorphins, and of oxygen in the brain, which promotes learning, development, and retention. Third, my favorite study, published by the American Kennel Club this spring, showed that Labradors actually learn 40% faster if their training session is immediately followed by a play session. Some of you might be thinking, did she just compare us to dogs? Yes, and here's why, because everything that we know or has supported our advances in medicine and things we know about human psychology stems from research on animals. Especially Pavlov's dogs, the experiment on positive or conditioning, I should say. And fourth, employees are likely or more likely to try new things if their work environment is fun. Volkswagen did an interesting study where in a public setting, there was a staircase and an escalator directly adjacent to each other. They wanted to see if they could promote people to use the stairs. So they turned the staircase into a giant functioning piano. They found that 66% of the time, people chose the staircase because it makes noise as you move up one level to the next. The study also concluded that fun is not only for a good time, but it can also change human behavior in situations that would otherwise be considered a chore, such as taking the stairs instead of using the escalator. So what do we do with all of this information now that we know what fun is? Or not what fun is, but why we should have fun. I think you should be able to define fun in your own terms. For me, it's being able to turn everything into a story or a Photoshop project, because that's what I like to do, and it usually gets me in trouble because people tell me that I need to stop having so much fun. The goal is that you should be able to take this information into your life so that you can combat these curmudgeons who tell you to stop having so much fun when you're onto something. As evidence shows, the value of having fun has been proven throughout time, space, and history, which I guess is kind of the same thing as time. Because who knows, you might be onto something like the frivolous flute was.